Here.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
And here we go. This is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor, and it is Tuesday morning, and the sun is coming up. I'm looking outside my office at the moment, and I'm seeing that the sun is slowly coming up over the trees. So it's going to be a good day. There's not a cloud in the sky. I don't think we're supposed to get rain. But you know what's so funny here in South Carolina? Last night, when I was in my house working, and I looked outside, I had blue skies. When it became dark, all of a sudden we had rain pouring down on us. I mean, it was literally coming down hard. So you just never know what's going to happen sometimes with this rainy, wintry weather. Listen, today, well, I think it's today anyway, the Supreme Court is hearing the arguments against and for Biden's forgiveness of student debt. This is not a popular subject with Americans. It is not a good subject to discuss at family outings. But it's something that needs to be determined. Now, a long time ago, well, several months ago, it was getting close to elections. So Biden came up with this wonderful plan, and Democrats came up with it too, and they said, let's forgive student debt, because they needed the votes. But the problem is that Joe Biden said, I don't really have the legal power to do it. And at that time, Speaker Pelosi said, no, he doesn't have the legal power to do it. He can't forgive student debt. That has to be an act of Congress. But they did it anyway. So Biden forgave this debt, and then people took him to court. And they said he does not have the constitutional right to forgive debt, which he doesn't. So that's before the Supreme Court. Now, listen, if you were a parent who co-signed on these loans, you knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing. You decided to send your student to an expensive school that needed money, and so you took out a loan, and now you have the responsibility of paying back that loan. You made that decision. You knew what you were doing when you signed on the dotted line of that contract. That was your financial responsibility and your student's financial responsibility. Just because you don't want to pay it doesn't mean that it should be forgiven. That is your responsibility. Just like when you sign on a car loan, that's not ever forgiven. Just like when you buy a house, that's not forgiven. Just like when you go into business and you take out a loan, that's not forgiven. And just because you made a bad decision on going to a bad school that was very costly, and you took out a loan to pay for that degree to hang on your, or what they call sheepskin, to hang on your wall, that was your decision. And now it becomes your responsibility. And the president cannot save you from this, just because it's an election year. And every time you guys fall for this, you guys fall for this free stuff. Every time an election comes along, people are handing out free stuff. So, listen, when you make bad decisions, you have to pay the price. You had choices, you had options, but you refused to look at those options. You could have gone to a community college the first 2 years and only pay about $3,000 to $4,000 a year on community college. But instead, you decided to go to another institution that was $14,000 to $20,000 a year. You had options. You had options of going out and working a part-time job, but you decided not to. You decided to go into debt, and so you took out a loan. You could have worked half a day and gone to school a half a day. That's what I did. You had options. You had options of, instead of getting that journalism degree, you could have gone and gotten a welding degree or a plumbing degree and made 3 times as much as a journalist. You had options. You see, when you have options and there are better options out there for you to take, you should probably take them. If you want to take journalism on the side and do that, fine. Mass communications. People take these mass communication degrees but can't do anything with them. So they have these degrees hanging on their wall, but that's not what they're working in. They're a hotel maid, they're working in Uber, they're doing something else besides mass communications. So, see, you made that bad decision to choose a bad degree program that would not get you a job, but you chose that. That was your option, and you chose the wrong option. That's my view on that situation. Because, listen, I went to college. I had very little debt because I was working in a furniture factory. I was working as a janitor. I was working for the dean of men in the dormitory to refurbish all of his desks and chairs and everything else. I did whatever I could because I did not have any parents' help. I had no one's help. So when I got out of school, I think I had $900 of debt, and I paid that off. I had options. I chose the right options, and I got done. The other thing I wanted to talk about today, I'm ending that one because you guys are getting pissed off probably out there, but I don't care, but that's how I feel, and that's how I think that every American should look at debt. If you signed up for it, you have to have the responsibility to pay for it. End of conversation. Listen, I want to go over an article I found this morning. And I found it funny because they wanted to go over the 16 items, the 16 income items that the IRS doesn't tax you on. I'm going to go through them right now. Number 1, adoption assistance. If your employer provided you with paid adoption assistance, that's non-taxable income. The total amount for that, by the way, is $14,890 per child. The IRS has a few rules about what qualifies as an expense, like adoption fees, court costs, and travel. The number 2 is alimony. The impact of divorce on taxes is complicated and sensitive. I know, I get into it every year. Yet another good reason to hire a tax professional instead of doing it yourself. But alimony is not taxable. It's not taxable income. Neither is, which is number 3, child support. Just as with receiving alimony payments, child support payments are not taxable income. In fact, the IRS doesn't consider child care support to be income at all. Child care payments are never deductible either, so don't include them on your tax forms. Number 4 was child. Why did I say child? It was on my mind. Number 4 is credit card rewards. The credit card rewards is a non-taxable item. Number 5, disability insurance. If your employer pays the premiums for your disability insurance, those payouts are taxable. But if you pay for the plan with your own money, a private disability policy, you don't need to include disability payouts as income on your tax return. Number 6, disaster assistance. And somebody just tried to send me a message. Disaster assistance. Qualified federal disaster relief payments are not taxable, as long as it isn't also paid by insurance or some other reimbursement. To be exempt, they have to come through the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Number 7 is education assistance. The money you get from your employer to help with education costs is not taxable. Up to $5,250 of those benefits can be excluded each year, and your employer shouldn't include them in what it reports as part of your wages, tips, and other compensation. Number 8, financial gifts. If you've gifted money or property, you don't have to pay taxes on it. These are some limits, however. The gift tax exclusion cap in 2022 is $16,000 per person. In 2023, it's $17,000. The giver doesn't usually have to pay either. One caveat: if you're gifted something that can make money down the line, like stock, you'll have to pay tax on that income. Number 9, foster care. Payments you get from the state or another eligible source to care for a foster child are considered child support, aren't included in your income tax, and thus are not taxed. Number 10, health savings accounts. Number 11, home sale capital gains. If you make capital gains from selling your home, you may qualify to exclude $250,000 of it from your tax return, or $500,000. Let me repeat that, or $500,000 if you file a joint return with your spouse. Inheritance, which is number 12, the final one. Inheritance are not subject to income taxes. However, as with many things related to the IRS, there is a caveat. If an estate is big enough, it could be subject to estate taxes, which are paid by the estate itself. For people who died in 2022, the basic exclusion amount is $12 million, okay? For those who die in 2023, the exclusion amount is $12,920,000. Oh, number 13. There's more, I guess. Life insurance payouts, Roth IRA income, scholarships, workers' compensation. Those are the free income that you can get. Now, those of you who heard divorce, and alimony, and child support, think about not running out because you think it's free money and getting a divorce. Please hold back. If you do, call me. We'll do a divorce mediation and we'll get the job done. But listen, marriage is important. So hold it together. It's not just free money. It's a bunch of headaches too. Listen, I hope each and every single one of you go out and have a great day today. Today's a Tuesday. Today's a day that you're looking forward to the next month. I've got client meetings today with tax clients. 5 years ago I said, I'm not going to do another tax return. I refuse to do another tax return. And I find myself doing tax returns. I shut down my office in Los Angeles. I had over 3,000 tax clients. And then all of a sudden I moved and I had a little break, but some of them followed me. Not all 3,000, just a few. I took on the ones I liked, the people that make me laugh. That's how you choose clients. Choose a client that makes you laugh and pays your fees. Listen, we're getting close. Getting close to the springtime. I went outside yesterday and the trees have flowers on them. All the flowers are beginning to bloom. I love it. I love this time of the year, except it's the sneezing time of the year. Anyway, if you want to have more access to me, if you want some business coaching or advice, go to www.lodge.co.com. If you have a business question, send it to me at thebusinessadvisor@gmail.com. And if you would like to support this wonderful podcast, go to buymeacoffee.com/Michael Lodge. Everybody go out and have a great day. Love you guys. Bye-bye.